Hi everybody, welcome once again to GG ahead of week 3 of the Dubai World Cup Carnival, and the feature this week is a Group 2 Cape Verde, which is probably the deepest edition of this Fillish race that I can remember. Automatically you look to Godolphin, who've got such a good record in this race. They run Magic Lily and Beyond Reason and Dubai Blue. William Buick has opted to ride Beyond Reason, but really her recent form and that of Magic Lily doesn't leave too much to get excited about, so I think perhaps the win comes from someone else's stable. I quite like Mamora here, trained by Simon Crisford. She's got the profile of an improving filly. Connections would obviously have targeted her at this race for some time, and I think conditions will suit. And the same has to be said for Mick Halford's Surrounding, who's got some great form right the way up to group level. But the one who interests me most is the French-trained filly here at Nizreen. She's owned by Team Valor, who are very selective and have done very well with horses that they've targeted at the Carnival over the years. She's the first runner here for her trainer, Hiru Shimzui, who's based, as I said, over in France. She's 3 from 4 at this trip. And Pierre Charles Boudot comes over to ride her. It's actually the first time he's ever ridden at Meydan. I just like the way everything should stack up in her favour in what does look a very, very deep race, considering the number of runners. It does look a particularly tricky one to try and work out. Got a couple of very interesting sprints on the card, starting with a 6 furlong turf event. And I've gone for Rifle Scope here. He's got top weight, but in the past he's done well with the 60 kilos, so that's not too much of a concern. And he's also gets a little bit behind when running over 5 furlongs. So the return to this 6 will definitely suit him. It was a good effort from him in defeat last time, and I quite like him here. A couple others to mention as well. Almanara, his first start on the turf in the UAE was a winning one over the 5 furlongs last time. Whether he'll be as effective back over this 6 remains to be seen, but I do think he'll be there or thereabouts again. And the same can be said for the same owner's Mokarab. He missed the break last time. He's certainly not the easiest of horses, I don't think, but he showed a good deal of finishing kick to get to third behind Ekhtiar, and I think he's worth another chance. He's certainly a horse I think who's capable of a lot better than we've seen so far. We then go on to the dirt for a 6 furlong race on the main track. And My Catch won really well last time. Despite his age, he looks as good as ever, but he does need the rail, and I think it's going to be difficult for them to get there from the wide draw. So I've gone for Bochart, who represents Satish Seema. This is an amazing horse. He really is. He's come back from what should have been a career-ending injury a couple of seasons ago. He's a multiple winner around Meydan, and he's just a proper warrior. I think if he can get out there in front and just fulfil the promise he showed when third in a listed race last time, then he could take a fair bit of catching for Richie Mullen. The listed Zabeel Turf is a newly upgraded event. It's over the 10 furlongs, and Dream Castle is going to attract all the headlines here. Obviously, he's a Group 1 winner. He's a class act, but it's only his second run over this trip. He probably is better over a mile, and the fact that they intended on running him last week when a bruised foot kept him out of action is a bit of a worry. Against that, though, this is a massive drop in grade for him. But all the same, I'm going to take him on with another of Godolphin's, and Loxley's been a bit of a cliff horse for me, so bear that in mind here. But he's been third on his last 3 starts. Second on his last 3 starts. His second behind Pablo Escobar at Kempton. Looks pretty good form now with that horse running so well at the Carnival a couple of weeks ago. And I think the fact that William Buick has opted to ride him over Art Duval could just be crucial here. But he's been a bit quirky since he's been gelded, has Loxley. He will need probably delivering late, and we'll see how he goes. But very much last chance saloon for me with Loxley, but I'll go for him in that race. The mile dirt race, a lot of people will be supporting Jane Chapel-Hyam, who's got Ambassadorial in here. He might just find things a little bit too tough once again, though, although this is, of course, a big drop down in class from the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. And I'm going to go for another local horse here. Midnight Sands has always been held in huge esteem by Doug Watson and Pat Dobbs, who maintain that going up to a mile for him won't be a problem at all. And he did set pretty strong fractions last time when winning over the 7 furlongs. I'm going to stick with him and hope he still has a couple of pounds in hand. Moving on to the finale, which is a mile race on the turf. And this again looks fiendishly difficult. Once again, though, I'm going to stick with one of the locals. And Yalail ran a great race last week to finish second behind GG.CO.UK. That horse was in a different parish. But nevertheless, it was a good run from Ali Rashid Al-Rahi's horse, who sort of backed up the good form he showed at Abu Dhabi from the time before. He's got a featherweight here, just a 53 kilos, and Fernando Hara is riding better than ever this season. So I'll go for him perhaps to take out the last on what could be a good night for our local trainers. Good luck, and I hope you enjoy watching Meydan.